We are still sitting down, but my food is better, thanks for asking. We're covering far and wide and deep and high. It's a very good episode with streams of consciousness, with like everyday examples of the text and really exploring the text and really just exploring. We have streams of consciousness. We have it all in this episode. It's a very good episode. Put it in your ears, do whatever you're doing while you're listening. Enjoy. A man's life brings nothing unless he lives in accordance with the whole universe. Man, let's just take a step back and reflect upon that for 1 second, right? All right, the 39th verse, and this is also from the 39th verse, so we will get the context of it like right away. It's a very beautiful verse, and it always talks about humility. It always talks about obscurity. The more we are going in, and the more that we're going deep in all of these verses in Tao Te Ching, the more I do really see like the link, the red thread. It's called in Danish, the red thread of these teachings, and it always is about true humility and the true values, the highest of values, and of allowing return to the Tao and returning to the Tao and obscurity. Yeah, now I've been repeating myself. I'm returning to the Tao and obscurity. All right, but let's get to it. The 39th verse. These things from ancient times arise from one. The sky is whole and clear. The earth is whole and firm. The spirit is whole and full. The 10,000 things are whole, and the country is upright. All these are in virtue of wholeness. When man interferes with the Tao, the sky becomes filthy. The earth becomes depleted. The equilibrium crumbles. Creatures become extinct. Therefore, nobility is rooted in humility. Loftiness is based on lowliness. This is why noble people refer to themselves as alone, lacking, and unworthy. The pieces of a chariot are useless unless they work in accordance with the whole. A man's life brings nothing unless he lives in accordance with the whole universe. Playing one's part in accordance with the universe is true humility. Truly, too much honor means no honor. It's not wise to shine like jade and resound like stone gems. So there we get the context of the whole thing, right? The pieces of a chariot are useless unless they work in accordance with the whole. In accordance with the whole. A life man brings nothing unless he lives in accordance with the whole universe. Playing one's parts in accordance with the universe is true humility. Now that's really all that it's ever saying. Like in the last episode, we were talking a lot about obscurity, and a lot about like the way of things is the way of obscurity. You know, the sun lightens the whole world each and every single day, if we're aware of it or not, and it does that unconditionally. With obscurity, because it never catches attention to itself. It never like sings, oh, look at me, look at me, look at me. And if we don't praise it, it don't take away the sunshine from us. And it never tells us that you owe me. It just shines and shines and shines unconditionally. The sky is whole and clear. Like this is wholeness. Humility is wholeness. I'm also thinking about air, right? Air is there in abundance for everyone on earth. Air is there in abundance for everyone on earth. You can be a shitty person. You can be a beautiful person. You can be whoever you want. You can be a Buddha or you can be Hitler. The air is always there in abundance of whoever you are. It's actually a verse that says, oh, maybe that is actually later in this one. I think it is. Yeah. So the 31st verse, we're gonna get there. It says here that the greatest love seems indifferent, right? So the greatest love is indifferent. It is equal to every single one. That's like air, the sun, water. Like those are the the virtues, those are the values of true humility. Those are the values of the Tao. This is from wholeness. This is from wholeness. Then what happens when man interferes with the Tao? The sky becomes filthy, the earth becomes depleted, the equilibrium crumbles, and creatures become extinct. This is what happens when man interferes with nature. I'm reflecting upon, like, is he writing this in a metaphorical way, or because the sky becomes filthy? Like, that is literally what is happening right now. But maybe he was like writing it metaphorically back then. I don't know. Or maybe like the air that we are breathing becomes filthy and then is creating filth. Or maybe they were also making the air filthy back then. I have no idea, but it is very beautiful. Therefore, nobility is rooted in humility. It is of not interfering. Now, let's break this interfering down. If this is what happens when man interferes with the Tao, what happens when man interferes with another person's life? It is said that the path to hell is paved with good intentions, right? What happens when man interferes with another person's life? We see that way, way, way too often. A good example that I have is what happens when we interfere with the process of other people, with their life, or if they're going through a certain process in their life. And we interfere because we know better. Oh, you should just do like this. Now, I did this back in the day when I was young and stupid and had all of the answers. Back then, the Tao could teach me nothing. I already knew everything, right? And I would interfere so much. I would interfere so much. It would be like, if my partner was going through anything, I would be like, just let go. Like, just let go. Why are you doing so much out of it? Just let go. Not validating at all the value of her emotions or the value of her process, or just like allowing her to go through her process the way she has to go through it. The same with my friends. I would always be like, do this, do this, do this. If they had some kind of problems, it would be like, well, let go and blah, blah, blah. Do it my way, because I know what is right. And I would interfere with them and their process in life. What happened? I lost all of my friends. I lost all of my friends because I was interfering so much. And not only was I interfering so much, and they in the end said, we don't want to be with you, Jonathan. I was a piece of shit, but it was fun. Also, it is interfering with the process, which is creating harm. That they were not allowed to go through their own process alone and respected in that, were causing harm. Then they could not go through the process, because creating this is creating confusing and emotional pain, and like it has a lot of consequences. So the process becomes very harsh, very harsh. And the consequences can be very dire. I do have some friends where the consequences have been very dire, not only because of my interference, but like from interference and not being allowed to just go through what they had to go through, but always being told what to do. And the path to hell is paved with good intentions, right? We are doing it in a good sense. We're doing it in a good way, but it's just not working, is it? It's just not working. What happens then when we interfere in our own lives? In our own lives and the way that we're living our life. We're suffering. Usually interfering means that we're resisting what we're going through. We want what we're going through to be something else than what it is. Like usually, very raw, that's what it means, right? Because if I were just to let go and to let it flow, I would not need any interference. It would just go and move the way it is to move, and I would be in it the way I am to be in it. But with my interference, it becomes like the energy cannot flow freely. And I am then causing myself suffering. I am then causing myself pain. And a good example for this is, so her parents, my fiance's parents, yeah, they have a restaurant here. And there are another, not a restaurant, but like a cafe or something like that. A place that's buying food from us every day, from them every day. And my job is to deliver the food. So I'm like driving from this village to the other village, and then I'm giving them the food there. And driving here is very different from driving in Denmark, in Europa, where everything is very structured. Here it's not that structured. It's very freely driving. And in my mind, I am interfering with their way of driving. Now I'm not doing it like I'm not doing it in my actions anyway, you know, but in my mind, I'm interfering that. And then one is driving, like the road is a one way, and then one is driving the wrong way. And in my mind, I'm just like, oh, you're driving the wrong way. I'm interfering. I'm interfering with what is happening. And what does it do? Like, it breaks the flow, and it breaks. I become angry. I become mad. I start to suffer. And I even become hateful. When people are walking without light or reflex vests, because that's also what we do in Denmark, you know, security first, or driving without helmet or anything like that, in my mind I interfere. And usually I become mad or angry, even hateful, creating suffering for myself. My mind becomes filthy. My mind becomes depleted. My harmony crumbles. Creatures become extinct. That is the way of interfering. It just creates suffering. Therefore, nobility is rooted in humility, for us to just take a step back, allow and return to the Tao, let everything flow the way it is to flow, and let everything go like the way it is to go. It's always the message here, right? A man's life brings nothing unless he lives in accordance with the whole universe. How do we do that? By this. By self-study, by study of the Tao, by changing our way of living, changing it in harmony with the Tao. And this is not something that goes fast. Like, this is not something like one day to the next, then you're enlightened. It is a practice, and it is a way of living. And it is aligning yourself with that. It is putting the attention on that. Yeah. Look at that. I don't think I have anything more with that. That was a good verse. I think there was a lot in it here to uncover. Nobility is rooted in humility. Always humility, right? Also because we, like, the ego-based nature is not very humble, is it, no? It's not very humble. And I think also that's why it's always look at me, and that's why he's like using so much humility. The truth is, there is no one to take the accomplishment, or there is no one to take anything, right? There's no one to take anything, because everything is the Tao. My favorite verse is the verse of 34th, and let me find it. It is so good. It is, the Tao is true both to the left or the right. It shares about the nature of the Tao. The great way is universal. It can apply to the left or to the right. All beings depend on it for life. Even so, it does not take possessions of them. It accomplishes its purpose, but makes no claim for itself. It covers all creatures like the sky, but does not dominate them. All things return to it as their home, but it does not lord over them. Thus, it may be called great. The great sage imitates this conduct. By not claiming greatness, the sage achieve greatness. Just to share about like what is true humility, and like what is the way of the Tao, and I absolutely love this. All life is created dependent on the Tao, yet it does not claim for itself. That is true humility. That is our nature, and we are the Tao. And all of this, man, right now I'm just going on like it's just a stream of consciousness right now. All of this is truly like so beautiful. And I see, when I say all of this, I'm really thinking a lot about this journey that we are all having. Why is this? Like, why is this? We could very easily just be like any other animal. We could very easily just grow up as children and become adults of children, and always live in that harmony, and always live in that heaven, and life could be heaven on earth. But why is it that every single human being, no exceptions, even the Buddha, probably even Jesus, every single human being has to go through this? It's so... what happened? Like, what happened? And I see it when it's like this, when it's like every single human being. It cannot be a coincidence. It cannot be a coincidence. It most certainly is a design. This game, this play, that we have forgotten who we are, and is then suffering, suffering and suffering and suffering, in order to wake up to who we are. And you look around and you see all of the people suffering, and all of the people who's not on the path. Well, can you not be on the path? I don't know if you cannot not be on the path. I don't know. But so many people are like seemingly not on the path. And it cannot be a coincidence. Nothing here is a coincidence. Even the ways of our life is working, the ways that our lives are flowing, nothing is a coincidence. My master told me, a snowflake never lands in the wrong place. Beautiful, right? A snowflake never lands in the wrong place. Everything has its way. Everything has its purpose. The 40th verse. Returning is the motion of the Tao. Yielding is the way of the Tao. The 10,000 things are born of being. Being is born of non-being. Yeah, that's very short, right? It's the shortest verse of them all. Very short, very beautiful, of course. Everything here is very beautiful. Returning is the motion of the Tao. We all return to the Tao. We are all destined to return of the Tao. In Hinduism, it is said that the whole universe, Brahma, is the... oh, we got a motorcycle. That the whole universe, Brahma, is the breath of Vishnu. And what does the breath do? It breathes in and it breathes out. It has a returning way of going. Returning is the motion of the Tao. Yeah, allow and return to the Tao, right? Returning is the motion of the Tao. This is why allow and return to the Tao, man. It's just the key, what I'm getting from all of this. Yielding is the way of the Tao. Be kind, be forgiving, be peaceful, right? Yielding is the way of the Tao. Yielding is to put the shoulders down too, right? And when we then get, because we do get triggered, and in our way of life we do get obstacles and we do hate. No matter how much I do my best to live in the light, no matter how much I do my best to forgive, I still keep getting triggered. I still keep hating, actually. And hating, especially when there's something we don't want. Like, that's when I get angry, and that's when I start hating. Returning is the way of the Tao. Allow and return to the Tao. Yielding is the way of the Tao. Oh, returning is the motion of the Tao. Yielding is the way of the Tao. Breathing out, relaxing, forgiving, allowing it to be. 10,000 things are born of being. Being is born of non-being. We are beingness, and beingness is born of non-beingness. In order for there to be yin, there has to be yang. We are living so much in the isness of things, the thingness of things. And all of this, what I think the journey is truly about is that it's truly about like returning to that nothingness, returning to nirvana, the heaven, returning to heaven. Because what is heaven? Heaven is spaciousness, which is another way of saying that heaven is nothingness, which is the way that Buddha was describing nirvana. nothingness. I once asked my master if he has stepped forward in nirvana, and annoying as he is, he said that that my question did not make any sense, of course, because everyone, all of the time, is living nirvana. Everyone, all of the time, is living nirvana. There's no one, nothing that is not living nirvana. This is nirvana. Whatever you're living right now, this is nirvana. This is heaven. This is nothingness. This is the Tao. This is the purpose of life. Whatever you're living right now, this is the purpose of life. There's a book by Alan Watts that's called This Is It. There's also a song by Michael Jackson that's called This Is It, but they are very talking about very different things. But in his, it's like a book of essays, and in his essay, This Is It, beautiful essay, he shares that this, what we're going through right now, is the purpose of life. Like, this is it. This is it. There's no other thing. This is it. This is the purpose. If you're suffering, this is the purpose of life. If you're happy, this is the purpose of life. This is it. I love that. Let's jump forth, unless you have something you want to share. Yeah, very beautiful. And I feel like there's so much wisdom here that I'm just not wise enough. But these were my reflections upon it. I want to say a very great thank you for watching. We covered so much in this episode, even a stream of consciousness. Thank you for watching. Blessed be you. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful life. See you next Tuesday in the next episode. Be happy.